In order for the NPC to follow the player, we're going to use Unity's default NavMesh navigation. I'm going to go to Window, AI, Navigation. So here we have the navigation window. First, we need to bake the ground that the AI is going to operate on. I'm going to press Control. Well, first let me get rid of the grid. It's bothering me. I'm going to press Control and click on the ground. I'm going to select all three of them. I'm going to go to the inspector and click on Static. Static means they're never going to move. Let me rename them. I'm going to add ground to their name so I can see them better. Okay. Now I'm going to go to navigation again, bake, and I'm going to click on bake. This is going to bake all the static objects in the scene. So they're marked as blue. Now I'm going to create an agent, create a cylinder inside the scene. I'm going to reset the position, bring it here. I'll make it smaller, something like this. Bring it down a little bit. And I'm going to add the NavMesh agent script to the object. And in order to control this object, I'm going to create a script. First, let me go into my characters folder and create a new folder. I'm going to call it Pathfinding Agent. I'm going to rename the object Pathfinding Agent, turn it into a prefab, and I'm going to create a C# script here. Call it Pathfinding Agent. Go in there. And I'm going to do all the usual stuff. Namespace, Roundbeargames. Put this in there. Get rid of start and update. I want this script to have a target, public game object target. This is where the object is going to go. Oops. I also want it to have access to the NavMesh agent. And for this, we're going to use Unity Engine AI. I'm going to name the variable NavMesh agent. And right in the beginning of the game, we want to find the script NavMesh agent. Get component NavMesh agent. I want a public variable. I'm going to call it goToTarget. And once this function is called, I want the object to chase the target, and for that we can use a function called setDestination, and I'm going to have the target's position as the destination. I want an option here, public bool chase playable or target playable character. This means the object is going to follow whatever playable character is in the scene, and that's going to be the target. We're going to use the character manager to find the playable character. I don't think we've created a function yet. I'm going to call it getPlayableCharacter. I'm going to go to the character manager, F12, and I'm going to create a public function that returns the character control. Call it getPlayableCharacter. And first we look through all the characters in the manager, and we check if the character has a manual input. If the character has manual input, it means it's being controlled by a human. So if manual input is not null, and we also want to check if the input is turned on, then that character control is being controlled by a human. Okay, otherwise we return nothing. I'm gonna go back to the pathfinding agent, and once we get the character, we set the game object as the target, and the agent is gonna follow it or go to the position. I don't think it's gonna chase it, so make sure you save everything, and I'm gonna go back to Unity. And for this object, I want to add the pathfinding agent script, and I'm going to check this box. I want it to follow the player. And let me create a new material here for the agent. I want to be able to see it clearly. I'm going to make it red. Okay. And I'm also going to turn this off. I'm going to turn off the collider. In the previous video, I thought we needed a collider to have the NavMesh working, but it turns out you don't need this. So for the layer function that we created, I think we're going to use it for some other purpose in the future. And let me click apply. I also want a custom button just for temporarily. I want to create an editor folder. I'm going to go in there, and I'm going to create a pathfinding agent editor. I want to create a button that when you press, it's going to trigger the pathfinding function that we just created. I'm going to be using Unity Engine or Unity Editor namespace. For this script, it's going to inherit from the editor class. And I think we need this line, custom editor for the pathfinding agent. And I want to override the editor function on inspector GUI. And I want to draw the default inspector. And I can get the pathfinding agent script by calling the target function, which is from the editor. Okay, and now I'm going to create a button here. If the button is pressed, and I'm going to call the button go to target. Oops. If the button is pressed, then we get the pathfinding agent and we call the function. Okay, if I go back to Unity, we should now have the button here, the custom button. So I'm going to click play. Okay, and this is what happens if I press it. Okay, it's working fine. I want it to go much faster. I'm going to make the speed 50, angular speed 200, acceleration 200. Okay, let me click apply. I'm going to put it a little farther away. Click play. And click on go to target. Okay. I want this to be near instant. I want the agent not to represent the character movement, but all we got to do now is have the AI chase the agent. I'm doing this because in the future we're going to have NPCs with varying speeds, and it's going to be difficult to control all of them with the NavMesh agent. So for my game, the only job for this agent is to figure out what is the pathway for the NPC to get to the player. I'm going to exit play mode, and I'm just going to get rid of the collider. We don't need it. And click apply. Okay, we got the basic mechanics working. Right now we don't have any other platforms on this scene, but in the next video I'm going to add some platforms that you can jump on and set this up so that the agent can traverse between different platforms. So that'll be it for today. Let me know if you have any questions, and thanks for watching.